cheating the benefit system, it is minuscule. When you look at the amount of people that are cheating the tax system, it is massive. The rollout of universal credit has cost an absolute fortune in England, far more than it's supposed to save or whatever. It's a whole faulty system, and it's intentional. It's the same way down south. Only about 2 years ago, Leo Varadkar was having posters everywhere when he was Minister for Welfare or whatever he was Minister for, and posters saying welfare cheats cheat us all. And he spent £100,000 in this campaign, and there are many welfare cheats in his opinion that he catch. He caught one person cheating the benefit system, and he spent £100,000. But this is intentional. This isn't to save money for the government. This is to create this whole societal view that everyone's cheating the system, and we need to see a man down the road, see a woman down the road, see she's getting more than me, and I'm working and she's getting more than me, and you have to also take into the point that the majority of people on universal credit are working.
Yep.
They're getting tax credits, whatever, on top of their work salary because they aren't getting enough. We now have a generation of working poor people that are working but they're still poor.
I watched that. I think it was Stacey Dooley, one of her documentaries. They're a bit hit and miss, but she did one for children in need. And there was a guy who was working for Domino's, doing he did night shift and everything, but he was homeless. He couldn't afford that to live anywhere, and it was the case where if he did a late shift, he wouldn't get a bed in one of the local hostels or one of the homeless shelters. But yeah, I completely agree. Just the way people are treated, and it's the same kind of tone that's given for foreign nationals that come to Northern Ireland and everything, or the wider UK. They're but sure, 4 people might come over and exploit the system a bit, but they tarnish a whole people of genuine asylum seekers and things like that with the same brush, just because you might have one Daily Mail article which is highly incorrect or is just wrong.
It's a classic right-wing tactic, is prey on the vulnerable, put the blame on the vulnerable. A refugee coming over here is not going to be usually in a position to defend themselves. Poor people find it very hard to defend themselves because the whole state's against them and the whole society's against them, and because of these right-wing conspiracies that refugees and asylum seekers and benefit cheats are the reason you're poor. No, I'm not poor. I'm poor because I'm not getting paid enough. I'm poor because your government's policies. I'm poor because there's billionaires that are avoiding tax havens, which are your mates in government. But it's this whole creating this impression that refugees and poor people are the reason that there's problems, and this is how fascism raises its dirty head. You look at the rise of Hitler and stuff. You put the blame on minorities. It was Jews is the reason that our economy's crap. That blah blah blah. It's you always prey on the vulnerable. It's a right-wing tactic.
It's a way as well, and it's sad to see working class. You see working class loyalists. A lot of them would have sympathy for foreign nationals coming here and all. But there's also a lot of them we look at them and say, oh, they're coming here and stealing our jobs, when in reality they're not. And even you might have people here they're coming here and taking our benefits and things like that, but many of the people coming here, if not most of them, are coming here because they're either persecuted in their countries or they're coming here to try and make a better way of life. It's not like they're coming here just to get free treatment in the NHS or free.
Usually coming here to avoid a war, which usually the UK was involved in. So you've got the UK bombing their homes, and then whenever they come over here, they're basically tarred in society. You look at how even the media perpetuates it. There was restrictions on people from Romania coming here, and they were lifted in 2014. And UKIP fueled this, and the media lapped it up that there was going to be floods and words like swarms of Romanian people coming in. The media, BBC went down and stood outside. Oh, we're Stormont. You can see Stormont from here. That's lovely. The media went down and stood.
Go for a drive up.
If we can get through the gates. Not happening over. The media went down and stood outside airplanes in airports waiting on Romanian people to flood in, and nobody showed up. There was I think one flight were standing there, and 2 people from Romania were on the flight, and they said, so are you over here to work? And he was like, no, I'm coming back. Why do I work here? And the other guy, I think the other guy was coming over here. He was over to see his family or something.
Yeah.
But it just shows how the media perpetuates this, and I think the media was partly responsible for the rise of UKIP as well, because the amount of airtime that Nigel Farage got in the lead up to the past few years was ridiculous, despite the fact that they had one elected rep. They didn't have an MP elected in the whole country, but yet they had so much airtime.
It's ridiculous. I find that annoying as well. That like you even get like idiots like Jamie Bryson over here getting airtime, when electorally they've been absolutely shocking, and he only got did he even get a few hundred votes when he went up for election here? But yeah, like Nigel Farage, and what do you call the BNP leader?
Nick.
It's Nick something. I keep thinking Nick Clegg, but no, it's not him. But yeah, I remember he was on what do you call Question Time and stuff, and you're thinking, why are you giving bloody racists like this kind of platform to spout nonsense?
He denies the Holocaust.
Yeah,
denies the Holocaust happened, and for a person like that to be given airtime on TV,
on
ridiculous.
Like public funded TV as well, which is ridiculous.
And what was I going to say? You touched on the issue of class as well. I think that's something the media as well perpetuates, is that there's this notion that working class people are racist, and it's all just stupid working class people that are racist, which I think is ridiculous, and I think it's perpetuated by the media. If you look at any report on Brexit, what's the first thing they do? They go down to a working class pub and pick a skinhead and go, why do you vote Brexit? And he goes, because I voted Brexit, I want to get the foreigners out. And that's their, supposedly fair reporting. When do you ever see them get into a big, mansion and hearing all the wealthy people going, I voted Leave because I want the foreigners out,
Yeah.
There's this like
the people, like, in quotations are like, the people to them are like those people in the pub, but they'll always talk about them as like, if you go down to the pub and X place, we're delivering Brexit for them and all this, like, absolute nonsense. Like, they just go.
It was the same in America as well, because whenever Trump was elected, it was all like, it was just stupid working class people, and they're all stupid, and it's just stupid hicks, stupid rednecks all voted for Trump. But if you look at the figures, it wasn't. It was middle class people that were voting for him, because, well, one, Hillary Clinton was a terrible candidate and she was establishment, but it was a protest vote against the establishment. It's the same in Brexit as well. Like, everybody goes on about, it was a racist vote, and everyone that voted was racist, and they all just wanted immigration to stop. If you look at the reasons, there's actually studies in this research, like the reasons people voted for Brexit, immigration was third on the list. More important issues were, I think the two most important was sovereignty and I can't remember what the other one was, but it was like, the EU, if you look at what it does around Europe, like, first of all, it bans socialism. So if you're socialist, you should be against it inherently. It topples elected governments, democratically elected governments. If you look at like Greece and stuff,
Greece is a shambles. Like,
it doesn't respect democracy. Look how many referendums were held in countries, and they just forced them to hold it again. Ireland, for example, the whole referendum on the issue of the treaty that they signed, and Ireland saying no very clearly, and the EU say, well, vote again, and they're trying to do the exact same with the Brexit vote at the minute. They're hoping for our vote, because it may well go Remain. They don't respect democracy in any way, and if you look at what the EU was set up to do, it was set up to be an economic trading area. What's it now? It's basically kind of a union of countries that acts as kind of like a, I don't know,
United States of Europe.
Yeah, like kind of USSR sort of thing, and it's literally setting up walls of barbed wire around itself and encouraging member states to let refugees drown at the borders. There was I can't remember what country it was recently, but there was refugees drowning at the borders, and they were picking some of them up to rescue them, and the EU condemned them for doing this. And people be like, oh, EU is great, the EU is a racist state. The EU only cares about you if you're white.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing your comments, because you're not against it for the same reasons as the DUP are against it, or
No.
You're more coming from like that socialist. Like, I voted to Remain and everything, and it's more, and I think a lot of people voted Remain because they just like to keep the status quo, and I think that, like, looking back, that's probably why I voted, just because I enjoy going to selfish, stupid things that only people that can afford it, like going on holiday. I was thinking, I don't like silly things, like I don't want to queue up for going through immigration or something and I go on
that's the
holiday.
thing as well. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want to pay for visas." No, that was like people say like the Leave vote lied during the thing. I mean, show me an election where sides don't lie. I tell you what, there was an equal amount of lies on the Remain side than there was on the Leave side. They perpetuated this notion that suddenly there's going to be the economist, what was it, the Chancellor said, George Osborne said, the day after this vote, if it's a Leave vote, markets will crash, we will lose billions, blah blah blah. We're going on holiday, we'll all have to pay visas. It'll lead to a hard border in Ireland. It'll lead to this, and every single one of them has been proven to be wrong. The EU's like, we don't want a hard border. The EU's like, no, you won't have to pay for visas. So like each side lied, and the argument about sovereignty, like people kind of pass that off as just British people being like Middle Englanders. I mean, it's a reasonable argument. Like
look at that guy's
you do,
dashboard.
Oh God, Confederate flag on his dashboard
Oh my
or
God.
his bumper. Oh God, right, brilliant.
Anyway,
it's a reasonable argument because, like, look, for example, like Sinn Féin has been against the EU forever until 2016 that they suddenly changed and are now supposedly the most proudest EU party, even though that they didn't register at all to be a Remain campaigner and didn't spend a single penny on it. That's another story. But they were against it for a load of reasons, because it's a neoliberal institution and mainly kind of sovereignty issue. If you're an organisation that has spent, and part of a country that has spent a century, centuries fighting for your national independence, why would you then go and hand your sovereignty over to someone else, especially someone else who the British have a say in how it's run?
Yeah.
you're being run by the British and others, because you are giving away your sovereignty, and I know it's people aren't, a lot of people in Middle England are saying that we have British laws or British people or whatever, and they may be saying it for different reasons, but it's an argument, like you're no longer sovereign whenever you're part of the EU. So that is an argument. I think that was the main reason in studies that have shown that was the main reason people voted for Brexit. But I think also as well, people are like, I know people that were from Wales and England, and their parents voted, and they were no way racist, no way immigration didn't even come into it. They were just like, I'm pissed off the way things are now, and I feel like I'm not feeling the benefit of this. I want to shake up the system. I'm gonna vote to leave. I think there was a lot of that.
Yeah, it's so easy. Like, and I'm probably have been guilty of it, where you just, if somebody said that they leave or they voted leave, or even like somebody who says, "Oh, I voted for the DUP," you're immediately in your head, you're just like, you're an absolute lunatic kind of thing. But like, I think over the past few months and everything, I've been thinking about genuine reasons. I've been trying to listen to all the hard Brexiteers and the Tories, and even though I still don't agree with them, it's definitely important to get like older people's your own belief and why we should leave the EU and stuff. But it's an absolute. Do you not think it's an absolute shambles at the minute? Like how everything's going on.
Because it's the Tories. You know what I mean? Like Tories. The only reason it's a shambles is because they're being propped up by the DUP.
Yeah.
If they weren't being propped up by the DUP, Brexit would have been negotiated about a year ago, because they wouldn't have had to worry about the backstop. They would have put the backstop in. DUP would have piped up, but they would have went, we don't care.
You're on a small.
What have you no say in this? That would have been solved, and the North would have had special status, or whatever you call it, customs union. That would have been solved a year ago at least, and it all would have been solved, and Tories would have been grand. But because Theresa May tried to gamble and call a general election, she's now propped up by DUP, and that's why the problem is. But if you look in terms of, classic example is like Labour released that brilliant manifesto in 2017. Everyone got really, really hyped up. Labour couldn't have implemented that manifesto within the EU because there's so many regulations against what you want to do. Things like creating a national bank and stuff, you can't do it under EU regulations. All those socialist policies, you can't do it under EU regulations because the EU wants to ban socialism.
What do you make on Corbyn's, like, because I suppose Corbyn would maybe share some of your beliefs in the way he's clearly he doesn't like the EU either, probably for socialist reasons. That's probably his main grief of it. But like, could you see a Labour government happening? Could a Labour government deliver Brexit? Would they deliver Brexit?
Oh, definitely they'll deliver it, yeah, 100%. But I think it's a poison chalice. I think it wouldn't do Jeremy Corbyn any favours to come in before Brexit's solved, because no matter what he does with Brexit, it's gonna. he's going to be the man that did it. First of all, that implemented Brexit, which he'll go against.